the module you can see there, the 3U, is our power supply module. In there we have a large RFI filter, so none of the mains data that we've got on the stand here is going back onto Earl's Court. It's all being stopped at that point. And we also know that nothing from Earl's Court is coming onto our network. So if you had 200 freezers out there all kicking in at random times, as you do in a hotel, the induction's not going to affect the noise that we can actually, not going to affect the mains that we can actually send data down. So we're coming through there. We've also got a built-in IP-enabled ammeter in there, so we can actually see how much power the stand is drawing anywhere across our network. Anywhere we put one of these boxes, we basically have an Ethernet port on every box. So we're naturally building an Ethernet network as such. It's a power line network that we're basically bringing to the entertainment industry using these boxes. So as you look through, you can see that the first box is an audio in box, and there's a CD player up there, which I'll start in a moment. The mains, basically, the audio is being encoded onto the mains. It's coming through. The next box along the line is the video inbox, the HDMI coming from the Blu-ray player. It's being split, so that's your source screen there, and that's your transmitted screen there. We're basically then coming along and we get to the audio out box, where we've got a couple of self-powered speakers which will pick up the audio signal from there. We then move on to the video out, where we've got the HDMI feeds to the relayed screen. Now the key thing with these boxes is they all work as distribution amplifiers as well. So you're using the mains to basically send all the data, but it's actually IP that we're using. So it's internet protocol that we're using, and we use multicast so that every box you have one in, but you get 60 out. So for every video in box, if you've got one HDMI source in there, you can have up to 60 video out boxes on the same network, and they can each be supplying plasmas or whatever you want. So if you wanted to put plasmas all the way around the building, you can just daisy chain one after the other, provided you bear in mind the amount of power. You're not going to exceed the standard 16 amp that you've got supplying that ring. The key thing is, because it's in IP and it's multicast, the latency is standardized. So you're not going to get a delay the further you get down the line of the mains. And the maximum you can go is 500 meters that we've tested it at. We can go further, but it gets boring plugging endless amounts of C-form in. The idea is to say 1 in 60 out means that the frame rate delay, the latency that we've got from source to screen is 6 frames a second. And it means that it will be the same latency on all of the screens around the building, which is obviously important. Ideally, it's not, we don't think it's, you wouldn't be using your live camera feed using this. You would be using this for support screens, secondary screens, outside the venue maybe, putting a screen outside outside a conference venue to show what's going on, etc. Likewise with the audio, this is for if you want to put pipe sound into a foyer, etc. You can just run a bit of 16 out, put in your speakers, self-powered speakers at the other end, and you're away. It's up and running. It's a very quick get out of jail system, but it's also quite a clever system insofar as you're using the IP multicast potential of it. So as I say, each box, mains in, mains out, and a filter. Then you've got your industry-specific data that's going to come out of each unit. You've also got your Ethernet port there. As well as that, we also have some management software, which actually shows us you can just see on the screen there's 7 nodes on the network. It actually shows you the available bandwidth between any points in that star topology you've got there. The product came from a partnership between Digital and Future Technologies and Power Ethernet, and Power Ethernet make these sockets for the UK market. And what we've basically done is, working with Power Ethernet, is taken the Qualcomm Athros chipset for the power line from behind here. We've added in a whole pile of VLAN services and quality of service management levels onto there, so that we can actually, it's kind of bringing it into what the entertainment industry expects to see. So the 4 ports on the front here, very, very simply, we can actually isolate them, so that's video, audio, lighting and Ethernet. And we can also adjust the available bandwidth on those ports regarding what you want to be doing with it. So if you're a rental company, you could set this up to give priority to video over sound, over lights. Depending on what you're trying to achieve, we can actually manage that now. And that represents, I think, quite a big change in what we've achieved here. The other thing is, all the boxes are AES 128 encrypted, so it's military-grade encryption of the data, which means it's very hard to hack that data if you really wanted to. But the other thing it allows us to do is have different network names for different clients. So if PRG Lighting bought 20 of these boxes, and if Dimension Audio bought 20 of those boxes, they wouldn't talk to each other. They're on completely separate networks. They will reduce the bandwidth of the available mains, which is why we have put the filtering system in there, so that we can, basically, different power supplies won't interfere with each other. So the lighting guys don't interfere with sound, don't interfere with video. So it's a very easy way of building a multicast IP network using 16 amp C4. And typically we've got an installation in the Norwegian State Opera where they've got 10 systems in there on all their fly bars, where they've got all the cable drums in the roof, but they're endlessly snapping DMX cables. So it basically came to us and said, can we put a system in there? So our systems go up and down on all their fly bars, and they've been doing that for the last 2 years. PSP Video have been using the HDMI over mains for a while now, and we're at the stage where we're ready to ship the lighting and the audio boxes. We're still doing a bit of work on the video because the quality of service and the bandwidth management system, which we're getting that to work with the video encoder a little bit better at the moment. So we expect to be shipping that by the end of the year. That's really what it is. It's trying to sort of get people to think out of the box and bring in sort of all the power of IP networking that we've got into power line networking for the entertainment industry. One final note is that we've got a wireless box as well, which converts everything that's on the mains network into wireless 802.11, so it can either go out on 2.4 or 5 gig. And we have a new box coming out which will do a dual frequency system on that. And we also have an Ethernet box, which is just the one you can see just down here, which is just basically 3 standard Ethernet ports out, and that's the idea for that is people who are running out 16 for festivals, etc., you can just leave one of those boxes in every porter cabin, and now you've got your entire network built. It's safer than wireless, it's encrypted, and you don't have to worry about, you've run the cable anyway, so you may as well get the network that comes with it.